You can't tell.
Or maybe I just show you now that I'm looking for the file. Let's see. Let me find your email. All right, so this is the one that you had sent me. Let me save this real quick and make the test file. What did I call this? Call it something buried. Yeah, there it is. So here we can see that this is the I guess damaged file or the wrong file. Or did you see how it was offset from the sketch there? Okay.
Yeah.
So came back over here and I started looking at things. So I said part CS for your sheet metal. That origin looks pretty okay right there in the corner. So then let's activate the world again. So again, it's on the world there as well as the part CS. But when I come up to the panel assembly and I look at the part CS for the panel, look where it is. So we had moved the sheet metal part.
Oh.
But we didn't pay attention to the assembly. So when I came up here and we got something called change assembly coordinate system. And before I do that, I want to roll everything back up here so that I got my nice sharp corners. And then I just said change assembly coordinate system to here. And now you kind of got to refresh it around a little bit till it updates. So let me go back to world here.
And this is why you like to start everything at the 0. Because
correct.
Okay, I understand now.
So let me save this again, and then I'll show you how I would have started this model instead. So here we come back over here. I didn't show you this yet, but instead of reloading this, instead of coming back in here, saying delete and then loading it fresh, you can say right mouse button, create new. Create new is going to load the part file fresh. So I made a change to the panel. I resaved that part file. And now I want to refresh that part file here. So when I say create new, you see how it jumps over?
Yeah.
So here's how I would have started this. Let's say that we say sheet metal. In this case, we said create base sheet. We could also do a sketch. It kind of works the same though. I say base, I pick my material, I right away say right mouse button, origin, and it goes right to it. And then you can continue working. The only other thing I might do is move this down so that it's
Top
on
of
the
it,
front of the
yeah.
panel. It's on the top of the material, not the
Right.
bottom. I like to work from the face of the panel back, not the inside of the material back. But to each their own there. That's totally the user's call. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I noticed on my final drawing that it was like the panel was kind of sunken into the wall and it was sticking out the thickness of the material. So when I did mine, I did it that way where it's kind of working from the inside of the panel.
Yeah. Well, there's also something that we didn't cover just yet, and we can, of course, why not look at it right now? So we have, and mine probably was the same way. A little hard to, you see how mine is, it looks like actually mine, I didn't move it like what I did just now. So it is actually holding the inside of the material. So I broke my rule there the other day, which is easy to fix. But let's look at something more important here. So what we have here is a global offset, which let's say you want it 2 inches from the wall. You can play with this. You can also say, hey, for whatever reason, if you got an indentation or say one or more panels needs to come out further. You also have an active offset, which goes with, whatever you select. Let's say you want those two, like a mosaic, maybe even like a mosaic situation. You can use these global and active offsets to your advantage here to define special situations, or the building comes around and then sets back a little bit, and then you got some windows maybe, for example. You can always move the assembly, but I think those offsets are better. Like, for example, I could say, okay, I just want to move this, 2 inches. Well, there's multiple ways, but I usually put it flush on the building. And here, I'm going to fix that here in a minute, so that I can use these offsets. Because you can always sit here and play around. Now, a reason for why you might move the assembly is say you modeled some substructure behind it, and you don't exactly know what the exact value you need. Well, then you might just do a transform from a surface to a surface. That might be easier than trying to figure out what the magical number is to type it in.
Yeah. And then that way you know if there's anything off, well, everything should be that. And if it's not, then there's a problem.
Correct. Or if you had some customers will put a scan, they'll load a scan into their model. I know that's I know you got the FlexiJet kind of instead, but they put a scan in there so that they actually see how the wall is, and then they start to know, okay, we gotta shim this out a little more so that everything comes in line, corners line up, and all that good stuff.
Well, there's a lot of imperfections on the walls. They'll have peaks and valleys, and we'll try to work off the peaks and add shims for the valleys. So very similar.
So let's see, let me close out some of this stuff. So yeah, Barry, I don't know if you want to load the file I sent you and just save that one, or if you want to try to do the repair real quick so that you're kind of familiar with what you might have needed to do.
Sure. Let me open up my recent. Let me share my screen.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead. We can all watch.
This is where we left off on this one. And what we're trying to do is move this over to the origin. So what was the first?
Well, you need to go to your panel model. So this is the application of the panel. We want to work with the actual part file of the panel.
Okay. Is the right one?
Most likely. I'm not exactly sure how you saved it, but it looks like you got that blah 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 number buried. That's probably it.
What was the first step?
Okay, so I might look at this from top view for a moment.
Is that it right here?
Okay. And in your structure, let's look at, I think your part file was okay, but if you go up to the assembly, you see how that's
Yeah.
how that's over a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before we run the command to reestablish that origin, I would roll all my flanges back up to so that you only have the base sheet in the feature step, so that we got that nice sharp corner that we can select.
So just pull this up here.
Yep.
That point. And then wish I could just drag and drop. What's next?
Okay. Let's look for a minute. Is it on the back of the? Oh, you got the part selected. So let's go up to the assembly. So activate the assembly and let's show the assembly part system, which I think is active, but let's zoom out a little bit. I want to see where the origin is. Yeah, there it is. So the command here is under drawings. We want to reestablish the assembly origin. So it's under that World CS drop-down button. And then you see there, change assembly coordinate system.
That one.
Yep. And now just click on the front face of the panel near that corner. Just reestablish that. Yeah, make sure the arrows are going right.
That looks good.
Okay. Ooh.
Right there.
I would probably come over a little bit, just to come out a little bit. Go up and to the right a little bit. Okay, click.
Right there. Oh, shit.
Yep.
I clicked.
Did you click?
Yeah.
Okay, then you can middle mouse to end.
Okay.
All right, now switch back to your world for a minute. It at least on my computer, it seemed to kind of you'd have to toggle it a little bit to get it to update. So if you hit your world system for a minute, okay, now go back to your part system. So drop down under World CS and say Part CS.
There I go. World CS. I'm going to hit it again. And then under this one.
So activate the assembly. So don't click on the part. Let's just leave it alone. So now we go World CS drop down, and we want to see Part CS.
Oh shit.
Activate
Do I
Part
need to
CS.
reactivate the assembly? Okay.
No, it's still selected.
Okay, change assembly coordinate system.
We already changed it. We just want to make sure it changed the way we thought it did. So we just need to activate the Part CS, which is the first option at the top.
Okay.
No, we didn't do something.
All right, I think I must have grabbed the wrong thing. So we go back to.
Okay, try it again. So World CS drop down.
Change
assembly coordinate system. I'll just click on that face near the corner.
Okay.
Okay, it did it that time. Okay, something didn't happen the first time. I thought that might be the case because it still looked like it was looking for you to do something. So now repeat what we just did by going to the world, hit world or W. Okay. Now hit the drop down and just say Part CS. The assembly is still active. Okay, that looks right.
Okay, it moved that over. Okay. So basically, we just had that. I had to get to the parts CS and make it the same as the world. Then you're saying, and then that way it relocated the whole part to the origin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now, to be honest with you, I've never actually had to walk through those steps because I always just draw it right on the origin in the first place. So I had to actually think about it for a minute to find that command to say, okay, let's say you made the mistake. Now, how do you conform everything back to how you want it? So it didn't take too long. It took me a few minutes to come up with the workflow there that I just showed you.
All right. Now we need to get back to where we were. Do I need to update something here because of all this, these exclamation points?
All the exclamation points mean is that you haven't saved your drawing since changes were made.
Okay.
So do you have to do it right now? No, but it's probably a good idea to save your drawing periodically.
Right. So Control S.
Yeah, Control S. Why not?
And then now we want to get back to here.
Before we do that, remember we need to we made a change to the panel, so we need to resave that to the library before we update the elevation.
Okay.
So it's not a live link. So you have a part file, you prepare your panel, and you save it, okay? And you apply it to your elevation model. And then you go back and make a change to the panel, whether it's minor or major, it doesn't matter. You need to save it again and then update the elevation model with that create new option that I just showed you a minute ago that you possibly already forgot about. That's okay.
Yep. No, possibly. Guaranteed effort.
So any change you make to your panel or any part file, it could be a panel, it could be a window, it could be a substructure, it doesn't matter. If you make a change, you got to save it again. When it comes to a parametric part file, okay?
That makes sense.
Which is what this is.
Yeah.
So go ahead and resave your panel. You might want to roll all your flanges back down so that you see your flanges when you go to use it.
Not seeing it over here.
Okay. Any idea why? You have the assembly active. All your features are under the part.
Where's the part?
It's right there under the assembly in the structure. You got panel mullets. Underneath it,
Right
you got
there.
the sheet metal part, and there's all the features.
I got you. Now I could save it again.
Yep, exact same steps. Just make sure you have the panel mullets assembly active before you do that, or else you'll save the variant incorrectly.
Okay. I'll bring this down. Resave that. That's what we're trying to save. Okay, so now let me go back over to here. We need to refresh this then now. Yeah.
Did you save it already? I don't think I saw that.
Well, I was here and I just hit I made sure this panel was active. I hit Control S.
Okay, that's not saving it to your library. That's saving the drawing model SCA file that we're looking at.
So I need to do a save as then.
Now remember how you highlight your panel and you go down to layout planing on the right and go down and hit save variant for element installation?
I remember that. I do not recall that. Where was that at?
No problem. So layout planing, it's on the right. So your panel assembly is active. So that's perfect. So on the right side of your screen, you see layout planing and your civil engineering function.
Yeah. Over here. Yep.
Okay, remember the one down there that has the little save button on it?
This one.
Yep. And it's going to bring up, remember this menu here where we originally selected a table and a directory. So you don't need to do anything here because it's remembering how you saved it the first time.
Okay.
So you're not able to change the table and directory after you locate it that first time. You can manually move the entry and do that. We'll look at that another time if you'd like.
Sure.
But all you got to do is say OK here. And your little GUI comes up, and here we don't need to make any GUI changes, so we can just say close. Okay, so you understand what we just did? So you hit save or save as to save that drawing in SCA format. That's just your model. That's the drawing that you're looking at. But that doesn't save your variant to the catalog. It just saves the drawing.
Okay.
You understand the difference?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so you resaved your variant. Now you can jump back over to that elevation model, which would probably be your building model or a specific part of the building, depending on what you're working on. And you want to refresh your model.
Right.
Now, you could double click on element installation. You could delete the panel, reload it again, but you would lose all your GUI changes. I know it's not so much right now, but let's say you have left returns and top returns and all kinds of things you've configured. You don't want to delete that and start fresh because, okay, maybe it's only 8 panels right now, but in reality, it's going to be probably a large elevation with hundreds of panels. You don't want to do all that work again. So, so we have a command called create new, which is okay. It's okay. It's an okay name, but really it reload variant is probably what I'd rather have that say. But to access it, you right click on your element installation in the feature, not the structure, the feature. And you see down there right in the middle, you have create new.
Shouldn't it be like a refresh?
That's basically what it is. Pretend that says, it refreshes the part file only. So I don't know. We could all come up with probably 10 better names than that, but that's what we got for now.
Right. Okay.
So create new, refresh, whatever.
Okay.
Hit that button. It'll think for a minute, and you see how it slid over. Now it's still, the front face is flush with the wall, which might look a little funny right now, but that's actually just what we want, because now we can use the offset commands that are built in to bring that out to where you want it.
Okay. Where was that offset? I sat here and watched you do it.
That is inside the element installation dialog. So that's back in your GUI for this panel, the configurator for this panel, which comes up. Remember how that comes up?
No.
So you can return to it anytime. You double click on your element installation feature. Again, the feature, not the structure.
Oh, okay.
So you understand the difference, right? You got your part tree, which shows the assemblies and the panels and the parts, and then the feature tree.
Our
if
features
you're working
of
on
those,
the panel,
right?
the feature tree shows all your sheet metal, flange, whatever else, miter. When you're working here on the elevation, your feature tree shows step 1 element installation, because that's how the parts were created here in elevation workspace, we'll call it here. And as you can see, it comes right up. And note at the top, we have global offset and active offset. Let's start with the global. So right now it's at 0, which is a good starting point, in my opinion. Keep that front face of the panel flush with aligned with the wall. Now here's where you could say, okay, the substructure that I'm going to run requires, I don't know, we'll say 2 or 2.5 inches of spacing. So you could start with that. Of course, we don't have substructure drawn at the moment, but let's just say 2 inches maybe. And when you hit enter, or probably just click somewhere, it will then, your preview will start popping out on you, so you can see how it's moving away.
Yeah, I see it moved away.
Now, the active offset is per selection. So it can be one panel, or it can be multiple panels that you select at a time using control. But let's say something interesting is going on 1 or 2 of those panels. And what you try to do there?
I just hit escape. I'm trying to deselect these because I had selected those.
Okay, just click somewhere.
I'm clicking in the background. You click on here.
Click on another panel without holding control.
I'm not holding control. Click it.
It frees up.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, I can move this.
Can you hit cancel? Or,
Yeah, I'm sure I could hit cancel. There we go.
all right.
So let's go back. Double click that. And we got global. So I had global set. Maybe I have to have global at 0 before I highlight that. And then, I don't know.
No, it's not required. You can have global at any value and still be able to select and set active offsets.
All right, so I'm going to go 2.
So you can say 2.
Oh, well, wait a minute. Now I've got that selected. But
so global means global. It's going to move them all regardless of what you have selected.
All right. So I've got global.
So let's say you pick that 1, for example, and change the active offset to be
3.
I don't know, whatever sounds good
4.
to you. Sure.
Go 4 on that one. Oh, wow. As soon as I moved off of this, it changed. Okay. So if I want to make that 0. Okay. If I want to, okay. I got you. So what had happened, I hit escape trying to deselect this. And that's what caused the issue.
Don't do that. Usually to deselect, usually I just click either another panel or because it's picky about that control. If you're not holding control, then it'll deselect whatever you've selected using control previously.
Okay.
You can also make a click, hold control, and draw a box around certain panels to select faster.
I'm good.
So here's mine. So I can double click over here. I can say, okay, I want these to be, L2, which is a little hard to say unless you click left view. So it's out 2 there. And let's say, I wanted these 2 to come out 4. And I could also say click, hold control, click, drag, just select like those at a time. Let's say they need to be, I don't know, -2. You can use positive and negatives here to go forward or back. So these 2 are now back flush against the face of the wall, which is probably not going to work out so well, but I think you see the idea.
Yeah.
Now, let's say I made a selection, everything selected, and I want to deselect it. I'll just click a panel somewhere. Say you want these. Say you want it to be back to 0.
Now everything's back.
So for your reveal, so we covered, of course, how you can change the reveal here in the dialog here. So any idea right now we don't see anything here. It's because every panel is selected, which might sound okay, but keep in mind we deleted a panel here. So as soon as I hit control and deselected that one, you see now these options, because all of these 8 panels have the same reveal configuration here, whereas the middle has nothing. So when you open this menu, it's going to show them all selected, including the ones that maybe you don't want selected. So as soon as you make that adjustment, now you can see here. So we can set the reveal here, of course, for all panels or only certain panels if that should need be. However, the better way in the CAD editor is we can set a standard reveal for this system in the catalog.
I like that better.
Who remembers where to go to get to the element panels here in the catalog?
Was it in plant engineering?
No, plant engineering's like piping systems and pumps and valves and stuff like that.
What was that? Steel engineering?
No, it's in, I'll give you a start, factory standards.
Okay.
Yeah, factory standards.
I'm in a meeting.
I'll give you a hint. It's not at the top.
It's over at 1 o'clock.
Parts and processing sounds familiar. No.
That's not a bad guess. Let's go down a little bit more.
I think I wrote this part down.
Station planning, parts and processing.
That's correct. So yeah, you're close there with the parts.
We got element installation, profile installation, substructure.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome. Okay.
So you kind of just keep expanding installation elements, and then here's the example table that we were using.
Okay.
This is creating a standard for the project. No.
For the panel. So it's just going to be panel. These are going to be assigned to this entry in the catalog. So here is the panel that I'm using on my computer right now. And make this a little easier on ourselves here. So all the way over here, we have something called gap mode and gap default. That gap basically is a reveal. And gap default is going to be the standard value for this joint width towards sketch line. So all of these values, if you activate gap mode here with the 1, so this is the value of the joint width towards sketch line. And let's see, I made a mistake here. I don't even know which one I'm working on here. I got to keep that highlighted. So let's say you want to use what 5/16, right?
Yep.
So We have to, unfortunately, this table is a metric table. We can't change, we can change that some places. This is not one of them. So we need to convert this to 7.9375. And we activate this function with a 1. So 0 means it doesn't look at this information. A 1 means that it's going to look at it. It's active versus inactive. So the gap default is active versus inactive. So a 0 versus a 1.
Gap mode needs to be a 1 to activate it.
Correct.
And then the value is under gap default.
And gap default is half of the reveal,
right?
In millimeters.
In metric. Yep. Which happens to be 7.9375.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I've got that. Where did you click on the groove part?
Maybe we can change it. Say again? The groove?
So yeah, it's under installation planning, under element installation, under installation elements, under ISD example. Okay.
Or wherever your panel table was saved at. This is just what we're using right now.
Okay. All right.
So with this set now, we save. And now whenever you load this for the first time, it's automatically going to take those values here. It'll convert them to inches and put them in the values at the top here.
Element installation. Cool.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I gotta get to that. What page is that?
Uh, 11.
Okay. Move that over there. All right.
Okay. Any questions before we move on? Marco, were you following that with the?
Yeah, I'd changed the gap mode and value on my wall panel I created. Got it saved in there in the standard.
Okay.
This is 24/7.
So let's
Is that this Counter-Strike game? Oh, no, it's
add some more features.
not.
to our panel.
Amsterdam.
So we have a very basic situation, but that's not going to cover all situations, of course. So let's say we need to have some kind of top. We're going to start pretty simple here, but we'll just keep building and building here. So come back over here to my panel. And under variables, let's say I want to start the process for adding a top return. So here we can create a variable name of your choice. This one you can pick. You know, let's say I call this, you know, top return or whatever sounds good to you. And I'm going to give this a value of 1. I'm creating a variable which is going to act as a toggle switch to turn this on and off. So 0 is off, 1 is on. So here's another way that you could utilize variables to control things in our parametric model. So on or off. So 0 versus a 1. So let's say I create that here. And I'm going to locate the feature step for this flange here. Now, I could come over here and start clicking on them. Well, okay, luckily it's the first one here. But let's say by the time we're done with a panel system, chances are you're going to have hundreds and hundreds of feature steps. For example, one that I built, I believe, has 600 something feature steps.
Wow.
Not to overwhelm you there, but I worked on that over time. I just sort of kept going and going and going. But let's say you don't know which feature step it is. You got a long list here. You don't want to keep scrolling and clicking. So if you hold Shift on the keyboard and click on, we'll say, an item, it jumps to that feature step. So let's watch again. I'm going to roll all these up. Pretend I don't know where it is. I'm going to hold Shift and I'm going to click this flange. And look, it opens up the feature step that I want to modify, for example, here.
I must have missed how you got where you're at. Can I share my screen?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how that got like that. Where should I
No
be?
problem. Looks fine.
This is where I should be?
Yeah, we're working back in this panel model, not the elevation model. And I added a variable, remember?
No, I must have missed that. Yeah, I know you're adding a variable, but
So right
I
mouse.
wasn't seeing the same things on my screen as you've got on yours.
It might
I
have
must have been looking away when you did it.
No, that's okay. For example, click on the panel mullets. Click on the assembly level. Go up one level.
This one?
Okay. The variables are there. Click back on the part.
Oh, which is down here?
No, I just want you to click on the sheet metal part. Okay, they show them all now. Okay, at one point the variables would not be visible at all, depending on what you click on. So that's good. But we want to add a variable, and remember we've been creating the variables kind of on the fly as we're editing the feature step. Remember that we would do IL and IH by editing the field in the feature step. Well, you can
Yep.
also just flat out create a variable before you use it. And you do that simply by right-clicking on the part in the variable structure that you want to create a new variable for. So in your variable list there, if you right-click on panel Mullets assembly, you can say add variable.
Okay.
And here you can name it. I named mine, I think, top return. Here's where you can pick whatever you want it to be.
Okay. Is this where you put the?
Let's not put a space. Let's stay away from spaces.
Okay.
So let's say top, you can do it like that. I like to use underscore sometimes, but it's not a must.
I do too.
Okay, that's
Like
good.
that.
And for the value, remember, here's where I was saying it's going to be a 0 or a 1, and we're going to
Right.
use that to control the function to turn on and off. So let's just make it a 1 for now because we want to build this function.
Okay. Apply.
Just,
Okay.
yeah, the difference is if you say apply, the dialog will stay open so you can make another variable. If you say okay, it will apply and close the dialog. So in this case, okay is the slightly better choice.
Okay. And there, it added it to that part or this list right here.
Mm-hmm.
And that we can look at that and see whether it's on or off. Can we change it on or off from here? Just
So
add
like
it,
you
make
can
that
change the
0?
value to 0,
Okay.
which we will do when we're testing it.
Okay.
Just like you could change that IL to be, 125 or 90 or whatever, to make it bigger or smaller. You can edit those anytime.
I like that.
Okay, the other thing I was saying, Barry, is say we're about to work on the top flange. So at the moment, the model's pretty small. It wouldn't take very long for us to just sort of manually figure out which feature step it is. However, that's not always going to be the case. You could have a large, you could have a lot of features here, and it makes it a little more difficult. So what I was saying is if you hold Shift on the keyboard and click on an item in your model, it will jump to the feature step that created that item. So for example, that flange is going to be feature step 6.
Okay. I like that. Now, if I want to
So-
deselect that, can I hit escape
No, just click anywhere.
anywhere? Okay. I'm going to write that down.
Okay.
Hit and click.
Yeah, pretty important, pretty useful command.
All right.
All right. So we want to work on the top flange here. So notice here's my 0. And I'm just going to turn it. And I'm going to say Shift, click. So it happens to be step 3 for me. So what we want to do is we want to create a longer flange for your top. And this would be the same strategy for left, right, top, bottom, whatever. But we want this to be long only sometimes, right? Because we're going to have, we'll say, a standard situation somewhere in the middle of the elevation, most likely. But at the top, bottoms, or around windows, or whatever, we're going to have more unique situations. So I want to introduce you to sort of an if-then statement in a minute. But before, I want to create one more variable. I forgot about this a minute ago. Is we're going to have top return, but we also want top length. So we have a standard flange length, which I believe we set to 1 or 2 or something like that. Let's just say that I want, I like nice easy numbers here just for learning. Let's say we want a top return to be a foot. So we're going to create a variable to capture that length. And of course, because it's a variable, you can change the length to be not always 12, but it could be 6 or 8 or 24 or 18 or whatever. So we have 2 new variables, top length and top return. Does everybody have those created?
Yeah.
Okay. So here in my feature step for this top flange, here we have flange length. Now we've already begin utilizing here, but we want to build on these parametrics further, because sometimes we want this to be, we'll say 12 inches or any value. Sometimes we want it to be, we'll say 1 inch or whatever value was set with this variable. So we have what's called an if-then statement. And let's see, I'll zoom in a little bit. The syntax for this is going to be, and maybe I just write it out here. So the syntax, make this a little smaller. The syntax is going to be, you're going to ask a question. So it's going to be condition. So meaning is top return equals 0, or does top return equal 1? You can kind of take your pick there. So we're going to have some kind of condition, and then the value of that condition, colon, value. So we'll say value if true. And we're going to say value if false. Now let's actually see this applied so that it starts to make a little more sense. So here, I'm going to edit this. By the way, you can edit right here, but sometimes you don't quite have enough room. So if you want a little more room, you can right click and say edit formula. It'll give you a nice dialog box where you can kind of see everything you need to see. So
Yeah.
two ways to edit there.
Okay.
So let's apply this for the first time. So remember, we want to ask ourselves a condition. So let's say, does top return equal 0? So this comes back to our switch. Remember, a 0 versus a 1. So basically, this is asking, do we need a top return or not? Okay. So the value,
like coding.
the value when it's 0 is going to be F length. At least on my computer, it needs to be F length. Obviously, you're going to use your variables that you created.
I like that
colon.
it pops up and populates what's already present, so it sort of helps you out. It's like the tab feature in VS Code.
Hmm. Okay.
It'll think what you might want and present it as an option. That's what happened to me on this thing.
Yeah, it happens in a lot of these menus.
Hmm.
So like when I started typing F, it starts
Yeah.
bringing up, it's going to show your model variables first, and then it'll go into some general parametric commands that could also be used.
Right.
And try not to be too overwhelmed by this. Just kind of take this as a journey with these parametrics, just little by little,
Hmm.
and sort of just build your knowledge. Don't try to get there all at once, because it won't happen. All there is disappointment there. Okay, so you with me so far? We got a condition. We're asking a condition.
Yeah.
And this is the value if that condition is true. So when there is no top return, we want the value of this flange length to be, well, flange length, or F length on my computer. Base. And now we want the value if this condition is false. So if top return is not 0, then it's going to be active. So here's where we want to use that top length that we just created. You with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
So
wish I hadn't capitalized my letters now. But yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. So remember, I have top return set to 1 at the moment in my variables, which I can't show you right now because I'm in this menu. But so when I say okay, look what happens. It automatically grows on me because of this is a 1. So here's where you could say, okay, let's change that to a 0. And it's switching on versus off. Now, when we get to the GUI, we have a nice function that can turn this 0 versus 1 into a checkbox. So unchecked is 0, checked is 1. So you're not having to type zeros or ones into your configurator. You can make it even more betterly interactive by having a little checkbox, switch on versus off. So that's kind of where we're headed. You can also do things here such as angle. So remember, this is this top flange. So here's where I could say, top angle, for example. Let's say I make that 100. That's a good start, but that's not going to cover us when we switch top return off. By the way, who can tell me what needs to happen right here in my variables? You notice that I create a new variable, but it automatically defaults to the part level. So I need to do what here in my variable?
You need to bring that above the. You need to drag top angle up.
That's correct. Yep.
That's right.
10 points for Barry.
All right. I'm still in the negative, by the way.
Oh, come on.
It's not so much.
So let's say here I switch my top return back to 0. It's nice that it turns off, but you see we have a small problem here, right? Can you see that? Let's look at it from the side. So my angle is still at 100, which we might want when we have a parapet situation, for example, but not in the standard configuration. So what can we do to this formula to make this behave better, or more like the top return, for example?
So you need to create the condition first. What was the question again?
What might,
How do you,
what could I do to improve this formula so it behaves like we want? So help me out here. What could I start with?
Probably top return 0 or 1. Top return 0 equals 0.
So you're saying top return equals 0. Yeah. By the way, you can pick 0 or 1 here, right, to do this. It doesn't really matter. It just matters how you write it. But top return equals 0. Use 90, for example.
Yeah.
If top return is not 0, use top angle. And fixes itself based on our changes here. Now when we say 1, let's just say we want this, 95 instead. So now we're getting better response here based on the design conditions that we need.
Nice.
okay.
Turn on. Woo! Fancy.
So did you create a new variable for that top angle, or did you?
I did, yes.
Okay. How did you adjust the formula?
How did I edit it? You can edit it right here.
I got you.
Or you can say
edit
right
formula.
click, edit formula.
I like that. Would you have top return equals 0 question mark? And 90 top angle. Okay, got it. Why does mine not look like yours?
You got it on or off?
Oh, yeah, I've got return on.
There you go.
There we go. Then Why the 95 value? Robert?
Why?
Yeah.
I just put something in there in case you wanted it, you know, angled back a little bit so the water flows,
Okay.
you know, back onto the roof, I guess.
Gotcha. I'm gonna have to study that a little bit more.
Oh, don't worry, we'll be creating top returns, left returns, right returns,
Okay.
bottom return if you'd like
Yeah.
for a soffit.
I can change that to. Okay, I see.
You guys got it?
Yeah.
So since we made a change, what do we now have to do?
You have to update the catalog,
Correct.
apply it to the catalog.
Yep. Here's my little trick for that, for this in a way. When I have functions such as top return or left or a right or a bottom, I switch it back to the standard configuration prior to saving because what condition that it's in when you save it becomes the default. So let's say we saved it with the top return on. Now every single panel on that whole elevation is going to have initially a top return showing, whereas it would make more sense to show it in standard and then switch the top return on only the ones that need it after you load it into your element installation command. So I usually switch it all back. That was a little easier here. We only have a top return, but let's say we have a top, bottom, left, right. That might take a couple extra seconds to change them all back to 0, but I say it's worth it. So now I'm just gonna, again, I'm gonna highlight my panel assembly and then come down here to find my save button.
Come down where? Oh, over there. Save variant for element installation. Okay, I've got that up.
And nothing we can do here because it's already been saved like this. So we really just continue with okay. We want to open our dialog editor because we got some new variables here this time. So we say okay. And now you should see our variable list is growing. And so what that did behind the scenes, Barry, is it automatically did a CSV export to update that CSV file in the catalog directory with your GUI file and your KRA file. And then this GUI creator app loaded that CSV file so that it got the updated variables. So that's kind of what happened there.
That's what we're looking at as results of the CSV on the left then. Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
So looks like thought I had a flange linked in here somewhere, but I'm not really seeing it. So let's. Oh, there it is. Okay. There's my flange link. So, okay. So now let's continue on with this configurator. So let's say, for example, we got these edit boxes. For example, the top length. And here, this designation, which basically means how does it appear here, this does not have to match this, okay? You could have changed you could have called your variable top length, but then come over here and said, hey, I want to call this top return.
Did you drag that over?
I did.
How'd you
I'll
get
do it
that
again.
top? Okay.
I clicked top length, and I just said
Okay.
drag.
Okay.
I can't get my configurator to pull up here. GUI center. Got my panel, hit save variant.
Is the bottom left box unchecked, or it says start dialog?
When I hit save variant, it doesn't even, it just does nothing. Let me share my screen real quick. Alright, yeah. Got my panel.
You have your panel active?
I believe so.
I didn't see anything red over there, so let's look at your 3D structure.
3D. Oh,
So panel mullets is what you want, right?
okay. Now I
I'll
hit.
try it.
Yeah, there it goes. Okay.
I think you had nothing selected, so it didn't know what to do. It did nothing basically.
Gotcha. Alright, you can take over. Alright, and then dragging over on top length, the top angle. Put my variables.
My tab item, I named it test. I like to name mine. Oh, you just click in there? Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, top angle. Alright.
You got it, Barry?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So our top return, remember this is the one that's a 0 or a 1 in our model. So here, instead of an edit box, let's pick a checkbox. Before we drag it over, let's look what it gives us. It gives us a checkbox here.
You did top return. All right. I accidentally dragged over top angle again. Let me make sure. Okay, all right, I got it. Sorry. Nope.
Okay. I don't think it lets you bring it over more than once.
Okay, yeah, I had the wrong one highlighted. I'm thinking, wait a minute, I just did that one.
Now, if you ever need to return it, so to speak,
yeah,
you can highlight one and hit this disconnect, and it bumps it back over.
Okay.
Oh, I just lost everything because I hit undo. There we go. Okay. So good here. So let's hit our save button here. Does it keep hiding everything?
Okay, I'm saved.
Now we can close. Now we can return to our elevation. And remember what I showed you earlier on this morning, Barry? How you can refresh your part file?
Oh.
also-
Oh yeah, create new.
You can also refresh your dialogues, which means your GUI. So we made a GUI change also just a minute ago. So we can say, I usually say renew dialogues first. Does it really matter? And probably not. I usually say renew dialogues and then create new.
Okay.
Okay, and you'll see the screen will kind of flash a couple of times. And now when we double click to bring up our configurator, we should see our changes visible. Does anybody not see their changes visible?
I got mine.
Okay.
Mine too.
Okay, good.
I still have tab item 2.
Yeah, me too.
But I remember
Hiding it, but
yeah, so we got a checkbox for return item. We can turn flange length on or off right there.
So here, let's say I highlight my top panels and I flick it on. And here we have, well, very simply modeled, we have the start of what would be a top return. I know there's going to be more flanges coming off of it than just that.
oh crap, I put mine on the bottom somehow.
Yours is on the bottom?
Yeah, I did must have done the whole panel backwards.
Well, well, now you got a soffit condition.
There you go.
What you could do, Marco, is you can go back to your panel model and go to your variable list and change what you thought was top return and say right click rename variable and change it to say bottom or soffit or whatever sounds good to you, and it'll change the variable name here, but it also changes it anywhere in the model that it's being used, which is really nice now that you think about it, because you would not want to go to each one of those spots to change it, because first off, you might not remember all the spots that it's being used in a very large parametric model.
I'm trying to remember how I got in there to edit the GUI. I'd like to bring mine a little bit closer.
Well, the easiest way would be to come back and just save it again.
Okay.
But there is a way I can show you to open up the GUI only. without saving.
Okay.
If you would like to see that, or if you'd like to worry about it another time.
It's up to you. I'm fine. I just want to bring mine closer together because when I had them a little spaced apart. I wanted to make mine more close together like yours is.
So
It's just a minor trivial.
the GUI, so the GUI app is in your HiCAD directory. This is the one I'm using at the very moment. In the EXE, and I believe it's called HiCAD GUI Creator, this one. So
HiCAD GUI Creator.
What's that? Do you get it?
Yeah, I'm looking for it. HiCAD GUI
What
Creator.
some people do is once you find it, is that they say send to shortcut or wherever that is in Windows 11. I guess show more and then create shortcut, or send to desktop create shortcut, and then you got the shortcut to it, and you can keep it on your desktop, put it in your taskbar, or wherever. And so you can launch this through the executable. But now you got to go find the right file to open. See, that's the caveat. You have to know where in your catalog directory it's saved and find the right file. Whereas if you simply resave the part file, okay, maybe it's not necessary to resave the part file, but it opens the GUI right away.
Is it a DLL?
No, it's an ISD. It's an ISD.
I'm in
GUI
the EXE
file
folder.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is it not in the EXE folder?
It is, but it's under HiCAD GUI Creator app. You have to know what letter it starts with. Sometimes it's not quite what you think.
Oh, I found it. Okay, I was looking right at it. Hello.
Oh. So, say you have it open.
Okay, I've got it.
And you want to go find the right file. So you have to kind of know. I'm not sure what it defaults to on your computer when you open it up. Can you tell me?
Right, same as yours. Work snowman with example.
Well, okay.
I've got two of them in there.
So yours is going to be a lot easier to know which one it is than me. Look what all I have in here.
I know,
probably,
right?
if I was to sort by date modified, here 7 minutes ago is a file that was edited. My last choice would be last month. So I'm going to say this is the one that I need.
Yeah. There it is. I found it.
And there it is.
Okay, drag these up. Drag that up. And save it. And close. Now, how do I get to the GUI to see it? Yeah.
Back on your elevation. So here's your elevation. Remember, how do you bring? Okay. Before we bring up the configurator, what do you need to do?
Save it.
As long as you hit save before you closed out your GUI file, or maybe it's still open, that's okay too.
I closed it out.
But you did hit save, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I saved it.
So remember, we got create new for the part. We don't need that one right now. We want only renew dialogues.
Okay, renew dial. That's going to update it. And now,
how do you get back to your configurator? You remember?
that's what I'm asking.
Okay, so you got
Was it?
your element installation structure, and when you activate that structure, you see you got a feature step here for element installation.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So just like any feature step, to return to it, you just double click on the feature step.
There it is. Okay. Perfect. That's how I was wanting it.
Good.
Yep.
Now, these assemblies default to called element installation, but here's where in reality, you're probably going to say, I don't know, let's say north elevation or some other better nomenclature to identify what part of the building it's at. Or if you divide it into numbers, you could say elevation 1A, or however you're organizing the job.
I'm going to call it what you're calling it, north elevation.
Okay.
All right.
So as you can imagine, that's very helpful when you got a full project on your screen.
Well, I know.
All right. You good over there, Marco?
Yeah, I think so. I was trying to switch it around to the top, but
Which one around?
my flange.
Oh, okay. Basically, repeat the same steps that you did, only you want to do it for the top instead of the bottom.
Yeah, I think I thought I did it right, but. Oh, whoa. Yeah. Dang it, mine keeps popping up on the bottom. Do I need to save the part in the work coordinate system or the global when I make a difference?
As long as you select that panel assembly, not the part, not the main assembly, but the panel assembly, which is on your screen in between those two, right?
Let me share here.
Yeah.
All right. Let's switch drawings. Got my panel here.
Okay. So you want to save this panel assembly, which is going to be the middle one in your structure on your screen here, because like, think about it for a moment. I know right now we only have a sheet metal piece in there, but in a complete panel, you're going to have stiffeners and clips and brackets and whatever else in there. So you want to resave that whole variant assembly, not just the sheet metal part. So
Where's this Mullets, right?
So that one right there. Now you don't have to have that main assembly in there, but it's also not hurting anything at the same time.
Save variant. Oh, yeah, I think this is what I was doing again. Wall panel. Okay. GUI menus updated. Save. Bring back open this guy. Renew our dialogues and create new. Alright, open up the GUI. Only want the top panels. Flange. It's on the friggin' bottom again. I'm not doing that.
Jump back to your model, your panel.
Yeah, so it was on flange 3. This is the bottom. So I put that back to normal, and then flange 5 here's the top. Got my two formulas in here.
It's almost like it didn't save the.
No. We got panel looks good, everything's good. Click here.
Do it one more time so that we know that it's saved. So here we say,
Yeah, right.
is wall panel. Oh, you see what's going, let's see. Wall panel. Okay, there it is. All right, that looks okay.
Okay. Dialog editor, still looks good. Save that just for good measures. All right, the panel's saved, right?
You have to update or
Yeah.
refresh.
Uh,
We did that.
There's element installation, right click.
Renew dialog.
Okay, do that too, just for fun. All right. Now, double click. We're on wall panel.
Is yours called wall panel and Barry's is called panel mullets or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And then I'm selected. Flange length, when I hit it, boop, mouse goes to the bottom.
Strange. Go ahead and delete it all. So let's load it fresh. Hit the X. I know you no. The hold on. The other X. Like delete the variant. So next to the catalog button.
Next to catalog, where are you at?
So highlight all panels first.
Why am I on the thing now? Oh. Now it's good.
The preview sometimes lies to you.
Oh,
It's when you make something mid. Yeah, I don't know how to describe this. Sometimes while you're making changes, the preview will lie to you, but when you apply, you'll see it.
Old processing.
Because something's going on with the preview where they don't. The preview is a preview, but they don't want to spend the same amount of processing power creating the preview than creating the parts itself, because then it would be like, well, skip the preview, just create it and look at it. So they got somewhere in between is going on, and I believe they selected certain types of features are critical enough to create the preview, which I would think a return would be. Anyway, if you were to load this fresh, like if you were to delete this project and start it again, the preview, I'm confident would behave correctly. But because we're in that kind of in-between zone here and we're playing around a lot.
Yeah.
So that, yeah.
Cool.
Sorry about that, but that's kind of what was going on.
Yeah, I'm glad I was doing it right.
You are. That's, I guess, the most important thing. Okay. So I'm going to activate my top return and let's add some more flanges. Let's make this more realistic here to how you would actually do it. What I do here, and maybe you don't have a clue with what I'm actually about to do, so bear with me here, is I like to put it back to a straight 90 to prepare initially, and then I'll test it to confirm that it works with other angles. But okay, what the heck am I about to do? I want to add additional flanges or say this one, and oops, didn't mean to close my menu, and this one. And notice what I was not paying attention to here. Let's see how it looks over here. You see how this is not lining up. And that's because when I was creating this flange, let's look at this from the, let's see. Which flange am I on? I don't actually know. I think it's this one. This one, okay. So when I look at this from the front, for example, I need to pay attention to my fitting mode here. And you see how, in this case, probably need to say out or outer is too much. Usually without shortening gets me there. What am I doing here? Oh, anybody see what I'm doing?
Grab a mill line and not a, actually.
Correct. I didn't select milling zone, so I wasn't creating the identical flange parameters that these were created, so it was giving me a strange result.
Like a bend or a fold. It's still a little bit out. Okay, there we go. Oh, still
no,
out.
that's not quite right either.
90. Direct outer.
So in this situation, sometimes you need to say to plane.
And then select the plane.
And then select this plane, and it puts it spot on.
And it'd be easier just to do that. Because you know what you want.
Yes. However, if I can do it without that, I find it's a slightly stronger model.
Yeah, I get you.
So let's see. I'm gonna get rid of that one because it's giving me a problem. So we got that one. I'm actually gonna change places here. And so I'm gonna say that side, and then milling edge. Let's see. Wanted to use a 90 tool here. That one's okay. Let me continue here. Seems to want me to do this one first. Oh, come on, man. Let me back up a minute here, guys. Sorry about that.
Take your time.
Sometimes it gets
That's till 1
picky.
o'clock.
Sometimes it gets a little picky with the order that you go in. Only say milling edge. Let me pick this.
anyways.
Oh, it's good. No, don't.
Not quite.
Something's off.
It's making me mad. I've also seen it like this side to be done before the other side.
Unknown.
Really not liking me today.
Right. I'm gonna go potty for a minute.
Okay. Oh, okay. I'll have to show Barry when he gets back. So what I sometimes have to do is this groove, this miter, sometimes screws me up when adding flanges. So what, technically this miter is used for a standard situation. Remember when we don't have a connection top, they created that nice tight corner here when our flange, when our top return is off. So when the flange length is 1 or whatever we have set here. So what I can do here is I can say, we can use what's called here a feature constraint. So here I can say I only want this quarter miter when up return is off or is equal 0. And so it's going to take that away. And I'm going to do it over here as well. Notice that marker there, you get it deactivated by constraint. So now this feature is like it's not even there. So it'll come back when I change my top return off or back to 0. You see they come back on and this corner looks nice like it should. And I bet now it doesn't give me so much grief here. Not only that, but it lines right up. You see that? All right, Barry. We had a breakthrough.
Woohoo!
So let me back up here for your sake. What I did here,
Where you at? You in views?
what's that?
I'm just trying to figure out where you're at.
Okay. Well, here, I'm back here where I have no flanges. Basically, this is exactly how we had it last on our elevation. So we have a simple top return. And the problem that I was having is these corner miters that we use when the return is off. So this corner miter is really only there for a standard situation, okay? And so the feature was conflicting with adding flanges to this edge. So what I did here, and this I hadn't taught you yet, is you can come in here and you can set here a feature constraint value. Whereas say I only want this corner miter when top return is off or when it equals 0. So notice that the constraint is shown here, and when you have it collapsed fully, it shows you that here in the value, so you don't have to open it up to look at it. So when I set that one, and I also come over here, and I'm holding shift and selecting the edge so that it jumps to the right one. I'm also going to set this here. Okay. So no change really to what we see at the moment, but what it's going to do, let me zoom in a little more. When I switch my return on or to a 1, it gives me a unmilled edge here with which to build the new flanges off of. So the milled groove that was active when these were, and it didn't like that so much. And notice that here, that these go to deactivated. So it's like they're not even there now that top return is off. And it gives you this little deactivated by constraint. So now watch what happens is when I start building these flanges, not only now did that deleting that milled edge is now having things lining up perfectly, but it's also solving the error that I was getting. So let's say I create it over there, and I come over here, and I create it over here. And you see things are lining up perfectly here without having to use that plane function. There's nothing wrong with that plane function. It's okay to use. Just from what I've seen, it's better to do it without it if you can.
Yeah, I understand. You want it to you don't want to have to add more things for it to think about. If you can just have it generated like it intended, would be better. It's already
and sometimes
calculating a lot of things.
When you're selecting planes for parametrics, sometimes it requires you to further define 3 points to give it the plane, because depending on the situation when you need that plane, sometimes lines move based on other variables, things switch on or off, and suddenly now something, an element saying a line, a point, something, an element now is not available that you were originally thinking would be available when you built that parameter. And why do I know that? Just comes with some experience, I suppose.
Yeah.
Try to do what I just did on my computer here, and I'm going to run to the restroom myself here.
Okay. You follow all that, Marco?
For the most part, I got mine to line up pretty nice without having to do that corner miter constraints on them. But I was paying attention, and it does make sense.
It does or does not?
It does.
I could see mine is it's got that corner miter carried all the way through to the return, on the return.
Yeah, my corner miters were a little bit weird. I had to go back and use the corner miter feature again. Or what is that, trim?
I'm going to share my screen
Okay.
because I'm pretty sure. Did I pick the right screen?
Yeah, see it.
I just hit attach,
Yeah, put some flanges on there.
and leave. What am I supposed to select here?
Let's check mine out. What do we got? New flanges. These guys. Oh, new attach. So I got flange creation. I got direct outer for the reference. Those are good. Yeah. This one I had to select direct outer.
This one?
Yeah.
Like one.
Yeah. That one's.
And angle. Huh? We need to select the.
No, down one on the mode. And then you got the second one over, milled. Yep.
That one. We got to select something from our catalog here.
Yeah. Yeah, I use the regular old 90-bit standard groove. B90. Okay.
Outer. Oh wait, how come it didn't show up there?
Didn't show up. I don't know. It should be good. You double click it.
Huh.
Whatever. It's probably all right.
Well, I think it wants me to apply it now. I don't know. Maybe not.
Select
You
that.
got to shorten outer.
You could try that one first, and if it doesn't line up, then use that 2-plane outer. Check that with your corner over there. Make sure. Looks like yours lines up pretty good, huh?
No.
No, here.
Looks like it's a little bit off.
That's how mine was. So then you want to change that shorten outer to 2-plane outer. Second from the bottom, yeah. Now click on that again, the ledge.
Oh, so it wants me to define the plane like this.
Yeah. So you're gonna click the vertical plane to match it up to, right?
Oh man,
There you go back.
it did the same thing.
Just hit cancel.
We need to select that plane.
Yeah.
This plane.
Yeah.
Two plane.
I think you gotta get there.
Huh?
That moving.
There, that did it.
Perfect.
Okay, and just keep going then, huh?
Yeah, do the same thing for the other side, and then the back flanges, you're gonna want to do the like direct
Different.
up or something.
All right, do that. Uh-oh. I took it away.
Do you not apply it? You gotta hit the middle mouse button to apply it.
Oh, what the heck? I had it.
You want top line, yeah. There you go. Line up right. Looks like it.
Yep, looks good.
Looks like that vertical plane, right?
This one?
No, the vertical
No,
plane.
this one.
Yeah, that's the plane you want to meet, right?
Is that what it's asking for? It's asking for the plane.
Oh, well. Yeah, what are you doing? You're on points there. What the hell? What the hell?
Did it keep that? Yeah, I kept that over there. I'm trying to.
I don't know why you're on this first point, second point deal.
This one is?
I don't know what you're doing.
I hit apply and cancel. Let's try this. And so that one kept.
Yeah.
Come back over here. Attach.
Okay. No, bed. Yeah, everything else looks good.
All right. Maybe I could do the, what'd you do, short and outer on this one?
Not on the back one.
Does I want this one first?
I don't know.
Oh, it didn't do anything. There's no outer planes for this one.
No, so that one would be short and outer.
Got it too. Why is it not populating? I'm clicking on it. Error unknown.
Yeah. What are you doing there? Let's see.
Outer connecting edge. Creation. Direct outer.
Yeah. Outer. That's good. Middle. Looks good.
That's right.
Yeah. Bend angle. Side plans.
It looks like that.
This one go to the, if you're on the side planes, push that to the plane one.
Oh,
Before you click on anything, I think. Let's see, there you go.
what you gotta do?
Click that one to the plane outer. All right.
The plane.
Yeah, there you go. Highlight it perfect, right? Yep.
I'll select the line.
We can do the line first. Yeah. Yeah, that edge.
And then the plane. And the line.
What in the world is yours doing?
I don't know, worked on the first one.
Right.
Make sure that one's good. You're good there.
Right. All right. Hit attach flange.
Here.
Get part selected. Select the one above it, right?
Should it be on this?
I think. Yeah.
I was on this one before, wasn't I?
Well, you want to be on the bottom one. Let's get all the feature steps.
Huh?
Click there. It says Lukabon again. Yeah, then all your feature steps show back up. That's what you want.
Now attach.
Attach.
Huh?
Yeah, attach. All right. Click on the line first before you click anything in the menu. Which one you want? Top one there? Yeah. Alright, now it's asking for the plane, right? Select point, edge, or surface. We want the surface of the other flange. Yep. Where's your flange at? It should be popping up.
To plane, outer plane.
Why is it asking you to select points? Select outer edge
Yeah.
or first point.
How's it going, guys?
Marco's got his. I'm going to cancel this. Went through. I got this side pretty good, and I went over to do the other side, and it's not cooperating.
Looks like you still have that groove. You still got your miter active. Remember, we feature constrained those to be off.
Okay.
Where do you see that at?
Give me your feature step there on your corner miter.
Do I need to show you again?
Yep.
Yep.
Do I need to answer that again?
Remember how I had 2 miter steps that were screwing us up? And
Yeah.
so I entered a condition here which activates those only when my top return is off. So let's say, and notice I didn't feature constrain these off, so let's get rid of these for now. So these two, so when I made this long, turn it back on. You see how it's making that grooved edge
Like that?
all the way down the flange? Which,
Yeah.
okay, wouldn't be a huge deal because we might want it, but what it was doing, it was conflicting with attaching a flange to this. It was also causing complications with the shortening, causing everything to line up. So what I did here is I simply said that I only want these to function when my top return is off. So now I got a quote unquote normal unmilled edge here to build further flanges on.
Okay.
So this is step 1 right here.
So why did it work on the other side? Maybe the other side didn't have that condition?
I don't have a good explanation there. I've seen it where sometimes it builds 1 or 2 of the flanges okay, but not the third. Or sometimes only 1, but not the other 2.
Okay.
I don't have a great answer other than this is my solution.
Okay. So I need to get this back to a standard, and to do that, how do I do that?
You can change your variable back to a 0.
Variable. On top return back to 0. And then
you need to identify which corner miters are the ones that you want to feature constrain to a certain condition. Now, here's where your shift click comes in handy. Say I hit shift and I click on this edge. Oh, here it is right here.
okay.
So just like your if-then statements where we said connection top equals 0 or 1 or whatever, we can do that right here. So, or top return equals 0. This feature step is only going to function when my top return is 0 or off.
All right, that's going to be confusing. So now I can go back and turn top return on and
Think of
apply.
it as an on-off switch for a feature step.
Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to attach. Select an edge. We're there, direct outer. We want 90. We want a milled edge. I've got it selected to plane, so maybe I should go short and outer.
You shouldn't have to do plane anymore. It should line up.
So it should be on short and outer then, right? Is that what you've got?
Yes, that is what I did.
Like that. And nothing's happening. What am I missing? Do I need to do that for this side too?
Share screen, Bear.
Corner miter. Sharing. And it's me. Right there. So I've got this edge.
I would go ahead. Well, nothing says you have to do the other side yet. In my opinion, I like to do one side, then do the other, and then.
I did this side first.
Even though that did work, I think it's going to work better if you still use that feature constraint on the miter. So I would remove that flange.
Okay. So
on the far side.
Shift. And then delete.
Delete. Nope, that's the whole part. You got to go to the feature step to delete. You only want to delete that feature.
Feature step. Delete this one, corner miter.
Nope, you want that one. You just constrained it. You just did some work on it. You want to delete the flange. So right click on the flange.
This one?
And say delete.
Ain't nothing says flange.
Attach flange.
This is highlighted, so it's this one. Copy that one. Okay. So do this one first.
So this side, remember you did your condition, right? Top return equals 0. So
right.
What I would say is let's move right over to the other side of the panel and set that feature constraint for the similar situation while you're sitting there thinking about it.
Yeah, because I've already forgotten how to do this.
No problem. So you hit Shift, hold Shift, and click on the edge to figure out which one it is.
That one.
All right. Okay, cool. It's that one. Now use the same strategy that you did for the one above it.
Oh, what did I do? This was 0, right? Oh, top return.
Look at the one above it. You want it to mimic what you did, which is what you're doing. So just finish it.
Too bad you can't just copy and paste.
You can. You gotta click in the field for it to kind of activate. Like top return equals 0. Like click in that field, and then you can copy
this one right here.
The one above it. You want to copy the one above it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So click in the field.
Highlight. Copy.
Say Control C. And then get rid of the one and say Control V. And then click or enter, yeah.
Now, go attach. Good there. Select edge. Select plane.
Nope, you want to, let's change the fitting mode off of the plane. Let's just go back to, let's try shorten outer first. Let's see what we get.
Oh, look at that.
Now,
Okay.
I can't tell from here, but it does look pretty good, but we might need to zoom in a little to see how it lines up. I think it's going to line up. That looks pretty good.
Yep. All right, so there's that edge. Now I can come over here and just do the same thing to here.
Yep, sure. It's probably okay, but never hurts to check it out. No,
this one's off.
Okay, and I believe why is this? If you change it to fitting mode unshortened or off, I think it will work, or without shortening. But I'd prefer to try to understand more why it works on one side versus the other.
Right.
Mine's doing that too. When I took off the constraints.
Well, it removed it from over here.
One
So
flange.
this one also has that correct edge.
Yeah. One of my flanges.
I need to make this edge just like that other edge.
Let's cancel the feature here. I want to look at the edge here before we add the flange. Okay, you see how the
Right here.
My thought is, let's look at the fitting mode of the flange next to it. So let's look at that feature step. Because your fitting modes kind of all need to sync up. So just hold shift, click on that other flange, and then we can open up the, no, not that one, the one next to it.
This one.
The right flange or the left flange or whatever we're looking at there.
The
I
vertical.
think it's going to be right flange.
This one over here.
No.
No?
You want your 1 inch returns are going vertical. You gotta check, make sure those match up. Yeah, those things.
Here's where it'd be very nice to be able to take over control of your screen. Did anybody try to look into maybe why that's not possible?
No, you want to try it again?
Well, I can tell you right now it's not going to work because your take control button is grayed out and it says requesting control is disabled by the share company's administrator. So this is going to go back to whoever manages your team's account, which is probably IT.
Yeah, that's like talking to a wall. Sure. Is it in here somewhere?
Unless it's a local setting, I thought it was an administrator thing, but let's see what we can find.
Stop me if you see something.
I'm going to Google it here real quick because.
All right. Need something to turn on. I have not been in here. I don't know. Because you said, didn't you say it was enabled on Marco's machine?
I think it was, which is very interesting. Click on a meeting to request control. Let's see.
Status is set on do not disturb.
When your status is set to do not, yeah.
And priority access. I'm not.
GPU hardware acceleration being disabled could cause GIF control menu not to be available. That's interesting. Let's see, what is hardware?
Oh, there's a search function up here. I'll just type in remote. Remote JS. I'm saying Microsoft Windows Remote Desktop. Now it wants to open Remote Desktop.
Let's try this, Barry. Can you go to your graphics, your display graphics settings? Let's at least confirm or rule this one out.
I'm gonna go run to the restroom while you guys figuring this out.
Okay.
I can just type in graphics.
Yeah, I think that would probably work. Yeah.
Settings.
And you see that advanced graphic settings there? Okay, it is on, so we can at least scratch that theory. Good. Google said a possible cause is that hardware acceleration is off, but we see that it is not the case here.
Okay. Remote desktop. That's not it. Why wouldn't that be it? It's a Teams thing, right? Apps. I don't think this is it. Would it be a SharePoint thing?
Probably not. 9 times out of 10, it's a Teams administration setting. But when I see that it works on Marco's but not yours, that's where it's starting to be outside my my purview here.
I have not messed with Teams admin settings anywhere. The only Teams stuff I do is with you. I haven't done any Teams stuff. Messages, group chats, meetings. Nope. Teams and channels. I do change settings. Might be something like this.
Meetings, policy.
Presenting.
Something in the Teams admin center. I don't know much about it because I'm not a Teams admin, but I don't know if it's a global setting or if they could go to certain workstations and say allow here, don't allow there.
Right.
I just don't know.
I could try to look into it for next time. Add app permissions. There's no Teams listed for app permissions. connections, maybe. Media microphone permission updates applied. No. Manage accounts.
I don't think it's a local setting. I think it has something to do with something outside of both our control.
Okay. That'll be something to look into. I've already checked this.
We could try that quick assist thing.
Yeah, I'd try anything right now.
Yeah, let's try it. Was it you guys that were having trouble with quick assist at one time? I think it was, but maybe today will be our lucky day. Let's see. Hope someone.
Sorry about that. I hit
All
the
right.
wrong X. There's more. Oh yeah, the quick assist was something different, wasn't it?
It's in Windows. It's a Windows program called Quick Assist.
All right, let's do that.
And then you enter this code that I put in the chat.
All right, let me go to the chat. I'm going to copy this code and go to quick. Should I share my screen now? I'm going to share my
No,
screen.
because the Quick Assist should share the screen.
Okay.
We'll try it that way.
Enter code. Submit.
Okay.
It was connecting. Share my screen. I see it. Wow. There we go. You're on. But you don't have any control, do you? Or do you? The screen sharing ended. Let's try that again. Use the same code, you think?
Oh, excuse me.
No excuse for you, mister. That's connecting. I think you might have to. Oh, there we go. Send a quick reply. Okay, this is a new code. Oh, chat opened in a different window. Sorry about that. That should still work, right? Cool meeting. You were able to connect once already, right? Thought you did. Okay, here we go. Wow.
Oh, sorry, I was muted.
Right, it says you're there. But
Okay. It starts for a minute and then it just ends. I don't know.
yeah,
Well, yeah, I don't think we try to spend much more time there. But what I was trying to say, Barry, is if you had when you add this flange, and on your computer this wasn't lining up a minute ago, I want to then go look at the settings of this flange to see what parameters were used, because it all needs to kind of sync up together.
okay.
If you use a strategy on one flange and you use a different one on the other one, you could imagine how things might not line up. So I wanted to look at this one over here, right next to it.
And do that. Just shift and click.
Yep, just shift and
Let me
click.
I'll share my screen. You ready?
Yeah, I think you understand what I was trying to say now.
There's the properties. Well, what is it?
It's gonna be number 3.
One?
I would just, so we got shorten outer. I think I know.
The mute Marco.
Shut your mouth.
There we go.
All right, I'm gonna come back over here for a minute, Barry. So here's how I usually do it, and I don't think this is necessarily the way it has to be done, but I just tried to maintain some consistency. So when I make a base sheet here and I go to add the other flanges, okay, I always go top, bottom, left, right.
Right.
So by going top, bottom first, now your sides are going to be done in reference to anything that happened in this step. So
I remember that step. I did not go top, bottom, left, right. I went all the way around.
What you probably did is I don't know which one you started with, but you might have said right, top, left, bottom, or something like that.
Yep.
And by doing that, you see how now your bottom basically creates a certain condition with which to build another flange off of in certain situations. Now I go top, bottom, okay, left, right. They could be top, bottom, right, left. The point is I start with the upper and bottom edges, and then you go to the sides. Now, could you also probably see success with doing the sides first and then doing the tops and bottoms second? I think yes. But I think the critical aspect is that you do either both sides first or both top and bottom first, and then continue on. I think that's why we're seeing that. Now, I'm always torn with whether to say that to you, because you're already struggling so much at that step to try to understand what's going on. And to say in that moment, you have to do the sides first or the top first, I feel like would blow over your head, confuse you further. Yeah. So I'm always torn with whether to speak up then or not on this.
No, you're good.
So
you're good. This is This is important to experience, I think. That was, so should I remake the panel?
I hate to hear that.
Well,
It
how
might,
about in my spare time when I'll try to revisit and remake the panel.
and that's actually the best actually, because you're gonna learn things bit by bit in this panel, but by the time you get to a certain point, you're gonna think back to all the lessons learned and say, man, I wish I had done that way from the start.
Yeah.
Or at this step or that step. So kind of at a certain moment is you take this training panel, you throw it out the window, and you come back and start again. And it's kind of inevitable. I hate to say we did all this work, but it's not that it's no good. It's just maybe not as good as it could be.
It's it's part of the process.
It's part of the process.
Learning. Yeah.
And
That's it.
even especially my 600 like my 600 step
Project.
panel.
I'd like to see that one of these days.
I was going to show you right now. I was going to show you on an elevation first, and then
What do you think?
so it's using the Carter Fusion profile system. And so this is the configurator. So say we got connection top, and I'll go ahead and hit OK so you can really kind of see it. I can share this with you. It's my panel. I built it. You can have it as a go by or something to study, but
Sure.
basically we got top returns. I got profiles in there. I got screws,
Hardware. Yeah, share it. I'd love to study it.
But I can do, I can do a situation on the corner. So we got kind of a standard corner here, up top here. We got where this, situation here is done. And I just folded a couple flanges down here where you could put a rivet or a clamp with a rivet or something on there, as I sometimes see. And it'll do all sides. So here we could do the same over here.
That's pretty cool.
Takes a little longer to load because you got more going on here, but so here we have top with an angle of some sort. Here I just did a 90-degree soffit. But what's really cool about this panel that I can do, special situations. Let's say I got something like this.
Like a sloping ground or something.
So enough change there that I have to remind it which panel was being used, and that can happen. Let's say we make that a left, that a right. I will just start with that for now.
That's awesome.
So it'll do that. And also do some unique things.
Huh.
So all the same part file. Now this, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little complex to build.
Yeah.
So don't
I'm
put
not
your
discouraged.
sights on this right away.
Right.
Because you never get there. It's step by step by
Right.
step.
Yeah.
What I see customers do sometimes, which doesn't work out so well, is they go for this for their very first panel, and they never get there, and they get frustrated and fed up, and they quit the software, even though I told them not to do it.
Right.
But this is types of things that are possible. But what I have some customers do in the meantime is they'll have a standard situation, like what we kind of have now, or standard with the top. And then they'll do a separate part file for a left and another one for the right. It's more files, but they get up and running faster, and they're already benefiting by, the standard panel is used, I don't know, 70, 80% of the building, I don't know, some type of percentage. And so you can apply that pretty quickly. And then you could say a right and a left, standard right left is not a whole lot of work to get working. Sometimes they struggle a little bit with something like this to get this to line up right, because both angles gotta work together. Because here you can also change the angle of the top, which we were just doing. All right, I'm on this other sketch over here. Sorry about that. So remember, top angle.
You're at 5 degrees. Now you're at 10 degrees.
Maybe it's a little hard to tell, but it did move.
Yeah, I can see it. I saw that it moved. the job I showed you on Wednesday with the pictures for
Mhm.
show and tell time. That had a slope too. I don't remember if it was 3 or 5 degrees, but it had a pretty significant slope to it. I think it was 3 degrees. What was it, Marco? 3 degrees?
I believe we cut them for 3, but who knows what the installers actually put them up at. It could be 5, it could be 2.
It's a variable. They were
Yeah.
designed for 3.
It's got a little bit of slope, we're good.
Hmm.
But anyway, so the file behind this, let me find that here. Let's see.
Is it a huge file?
Probably not big. I'm more referring to the number of steps in the model.
Yeah,
Let's
probably
see.
huge in that regard.
I mean, it's not even, it's a meg.
Wow. Okay.
Like here it is. Here's my sheet metal feature step. Looks like okay, approximately 350 functions from, and you see how you see a lot of deactivated by constraints here, like what we just did. I mean, that's
Right.
that's a lot of what this is. Switching certain steps on and on. I mean, look at all the conditions that you use here to make it all kind of work together. And so what we did there just a minute ago is a huge part of doing this, because you need some commands to work in this situation, but not to work in other situations, because it either causes errors or because it creates geometry that you don't want there because another feature depends on it not being there.
Right. So you could turn those on and off from there.
And yeah, so here's my variable list. Now, a lot of this is not necessary. Let me tell you right now. If I was to go back and redo it, I like these edges. Basically, all these edge variables could go away. Not so necessary. I was trying out a strategy, and in the end, I decided that it was not worth the time that it took to set all that up. So part of me wants to build this again. Part of me remembers how long that took, and I'm not sure that's worth the time for a demonstration when I can already give a pretty good demonstration.
At least you got it up here now. If you were to ever tackle something similar, you'd know what not to do.
Yeah.
Or what to do.
In other words, I'm your guy here in USA branch that knows the most about this right here.
I am convinced of that for sure.
Come to find
100%.
out that there's only about 5 or 6 people worldwide that really know this, and I was a little surprised at that. I figured there'd be plenty of people either, and I mean like inside of ISD. I think there's plenty of customers that also know the same, if not more, because after a while, you'll be doing this every day, all day, every day, whereas I'm doing this, a little bit of curtain walls and a little bit of steel and then a little bit of something else. So in the end, you may be more equipped.
That's what I'm afraid of. gonna fall in my lap.
But it's pretty neat.
It is.
Once you really start understanding it, it does make sense. Occasionally you get those little things such as the flanges that were failing. And I'm not building these every day. So I had to remind myself, oh yeah, we got to switch those off first so that we can get rid of those grooves that were causing us problems over here.
Right.
And I had to start working through that. Well, I think I was talking to Marco while you were, taking a quick break, but and then it dawned on me, oh yeah, we gotta do this condition here. But the sky's the limit, really. As far as what do you want to build into this? What's important to have to be done quickly? What maybe is better to be in a separate file, or what can get you 90% there, but you maybe do that last 10%, maybe modeling separately, just because it ends up being quicker than trying to incorporate something into a super panel model, which is what we like to call them.
Would you consider that one a super panel model? What you just showed us?
I think so, only because it's similar to what I've seen other people do. Has somebody done something better? I'm sure. Actually, the only thing that I've really seen that's more complex is, and I didn't even think this was possible, they did it for a curved panel.
Oh, wow.
So a parametric curved panel. I was told that's not possible. Well, what this guy, he's an ISD person. He's been doing this a while. He actually created 3D solids, and made them invisible in the screen, but then made his constraints for his curves to snap to those surfaces. So, in order to get a very unique curve panel. I think I understand what he did, but I only spent maybe an hour looking at it.
Sounds interesting as heck.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not a programmer, but when you combine this with API to maybe software's already very capable, but does it encompass everything that everybody in the world could come up with? Well, no.
No.
But you can script it and turn it into exactly what you want.
Yeah.
All right. We continue, Barry, on your side to get this.
We could do that, or I could work on creating that this week, and push comes to shove, I can get Marco's model. Marco could send me his. But the goal is to get.
I did the old go around the square with the flanges too, so I had to use a couple different methods to get them to all line back up right. But
I'm down for watching and taking notes.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to work a little bit further here because I want to show you a couple more steps so that you can then work on your own a little bit further.
Okay.
But so basically, I constrain these two here. Sorry, not that one. To deactivate on a top return of zero situation. so that these flanges can be correctly and successfully constructed here with to align nicely here. So we got that side, and then I got this side. And I believe the way this worked out comes back to the fact that I did my top and bottom first, and then I did my sides second. I think you could also do the sides first and the top and bottom separately, but be consistent as either side first or top bottom first. I don't think it matters so much as which one there. So, okay, couple things to look at. So these flanges that I just made here are only going to be a top return equals 1, right? So when you don't have this top return here, you don't want these flanges. If you skip this step, oh, really thought I copied it. If you skip this step, you'll see errors here in your feature list. It'll be trying to put flanges
where there's nothing,
where there's no edge.
right?
Because in here, look what's captured here when you do a flange, outer connecting edge. So in the background, this edge is identified in some way. I don't know exactly what that is. Maybe it causes it edge 1, edge 2, edge 3, or more complex than that. But this edge is somehow identified in the background. And if that edge suddenly goes away due to another feature, then this flange creation step will probably fail. So to keep errors showing up, sorry, go ahead.
And then at that point, can we add the top return equals 1 at that point once there's an error?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Try to. It's always a combination of trying your best as you're setting this up, as you're doing it. But when you see the errors, and sometimes you don't see the error till you activate another situation. You say, oh, wait, now I got an error here. And you're kind of debugging it in a way, like you would with software in code. You say, oh, okay, I got an error here. You might expand it. It might say here, edge not found, in which case you think it through and say, oh, okay, this only needs to be active in this situation. And you type in the condition.
Return equals 1.
So let's say, Barry, let's say I forget.
Right.
Let's say I forget on this last flange to give it the condition here. And I switch this back to 0. Okay, the visual looks fine. But looky here. I got action cannot be executed. Why? Unable
because
to
there's
find
no
it.
top. Right.
In which case, I don't have to do anything at this point except say, oh, whoops, I forgot to say top return 1 only. And look, problem solved.
Nice.
So now we can keep working here with our corner miters. Such as these. And these. Even though I have this on groove form, it will work here. It does not put a groove because it only puts a groove in a situation like this. Some people like that, some people don't. At the moment, in this condition, it does not put a groove there. I can add a groove afterwards if I want.
Why would we put a groove there anyway?
I don't know, like one person one customer wanted it, and we were like, well, why do you want a groove there? Because he had some reason that, okay, what was his opinion that he wanted a groove there? All right, whatever. And sorry, this function does not work that way. You can, however, get rid of teams. You can create a sketch. Let's say I place a line there. And extras, I have free milling. Or I can add some kind of tool. And you have to do this in a certain way. Did I do it wrong? I'm thinking yes. Oh, you have to use bend sim first. Okay, that's my mistake. So I would first need to say bend sim. Then I can say,
Oh, okay, yeah, I got you.
free milling, select part, select tool. And you can see what's happening. You can also see what I'll say okay here. You can see what I need to change. Let's say I come back to this function, and let's say I process or edit my sketch. Now I can drag these out a little bit more. To make it look more something like that.
That's like a free form. Apply the feature as a free form type of more manual.
Yeah. And this was new as of 2023, I think, because that we kept getting this. Hey, we love the grooves that are done automatically with the miters and the flange creation, but hey, we just need a groove on this edge for whatever the reason they wanted it. And so that was our response to that comment that we kept getting here or there. So we do actually listen.
And on the free milling feature, can you pick like a square tool? Does it have to be a groove tool? Could it be like a square bottom cut? Or each one like just remove material? Cool.
It can be any tool that you have here. In fact, we have here, we call it rectangle, but I think you can set your W to be 0. So you see the W here is 0. So even though the diagram looks like that, you can set your W to 0 to come up with, like what you said, just a milling cutter, just a standard milling cutter of some sort.
Yeah, we have done some projects where we route out half the material out of the back or something, try to make half laps and stuff like that.
It turns out good that way.
Yeah.
Just, like a free form extra thing.
Cool.
All right, so similar to all of these, here's where all of these new functions need this condition. And you're not limited to just one. You can say, and another one, and another one, and another one. So you can keep going, because there will be situations where top return and left return. need to be active for something to work correctly. Here's a situation where we got something interesting happening here. Well, here's where this particular trim corner, this also needs to be top return 0. As well as this one. Shift, click, here it is. Top return 0. Now that fixes the error, but it doesn't exactly solve this yet. You're right, it's a two-step process. Step 1, get rid of the error, switch off what needs to be switched off. Step 2, here we use a 3 bend zone. 1, 2, 3.
Look at that.
And here we go. Top return equals 1.
Nice.
Same thing. Top return 1. So let's test it. So let's come back over here. And let's say, put this back to 0. Looks good to me.
Yep, me too.
So here's where I'm pretty confident this is going to work, but you're not always. Here's where do not wait too long to build and then test on your elevation. Unfortunately, I hear every now and then, despite this advice that I give, they don't listen. They will spend weeks and weeks and months building a panel, maybe like this, maybe more or less complex, whatever. And they say, hey, I built this panel, but it doesn't work on the elevation, either in this situation or that situation. And said, okay, well, let's look at it. And we look at it and come over here to the panel, and I find an error in, I don't know, step 4. Okay? Out of all these features. Well, depending on what it is, the calculation order is from top to bottom. So as I repaired step 4, almost 80% of what comes underneath it fails. Either the geometry is changed, or remember, things are being identified in the background. So if let's say I did sheet from sketch here. Let's say I suddenly wanted to do base sheet instead. Bad luck. You can't change that now. You've built everything off of some core steps in the beginning. That's why working a bit, test. Work a bit, test. Because I had to say to this person, well, how many times were you testing this as you were working? And I said, I'm testing it now. I built it and now I'm testing it. Well, sorry. We got to almost start over now. So.
That's like coding.
Yeah. Okay. So we save. We test.
Then add a feature. Test. code, add a feature. Test code, add a feature.
Yep.
Incrementally. In fact, I got a process right here. And logging, input validation, error handling, configuration, testing, and performance optimization.
Mm-hmm.
That's where AI comes in. You get AI to do most of that cumbersome stuff for you. Then you still gotta check it.
Yeah. Guessing these are the bottom ones. So these, why do these not need a condition? Well, right now I don't need it, but if you were to add a soffit for this bottom, kind of like what Marco's looked like there for a little while, you would need to condition these too, because you want them here. You don't want them if you were to extend this because of what we saw, the problems that we had here at the top.
Right.
If you know that you're going to add a soffit, okay, go ahead and do it right now. If you're thinking about it, top return equals 0.
Well, sometimes didn't we wouldn't necessarily have a bevel joint there. We would just have a fold and then have that other flange just stop with a 90. You know what I mean? Or am I thinking about that wrong, Marco? You're muted, Marco.
Yeah, as far as like the CAD file goes for cutting it,
Yeah.
don't get into all that detail. Just keep it simpler, but being able to draw out the whole thing, draw out the job, make sure it fits, and then be able to flatten everything out. You might want to add all the extra features. More detailed we draw it, the more likely it is to fit right the first time, I think.
That'd be better, like if that return had a flange, but a lot of times, sometimes they don't, I guess.
Which flange are you talking about? Like this bottom one here?
Yeah, like for example, if we were to have a return for like that face right there, if it was like 12 inches long without flanges on the side, those perpendicular flanges that approach it would just be at a 90. It's, you know, at where it meets that return would just be at a 90 instead of a bevel cut. And it would just get
I
stopped.
usually miter the first inch of, if it's like a longer flat, I'll miter the first inch of it just so when it gets into that corner, it sits
Okay.
so,
Just for a little more freedom.
yeah, that or just back off the flange, an 1/8 inch, 3/16, whatever, and it clears too.
Okay.
Depends on the scenario.
One of only 5 people in the world.
Something like that. Because when you got a really advanced question and you're trying to get support, it's a little hard. I stopped asking them. To be honest with you, at a certain moment, I realized that either A, nobody has the time to study this, for long enough to really know what I'm asking, or nobody is either they don't have time or they don't quite know. And so at a certain moment, I said, "All right, I'm kind of on my own here." Um,
You're on an island.
yep. But okay. No.
Sometimes I feel that way about 3D AutoCAD.
Are there a
I
lot of
do
people
everything.
using that?
No.
Okay.
That's what I said. I'm like one of a kind. People,
It always seemed a little strange to me. I don't know. Maybe at a certain moment that was all that was available. But when you have Inventor or Revit or
and
other
SolidWorks.
platforms, why are you
Yeah.
using 3D AutoCAD? I don't know.
Yeah. But I'm really good at it.
Okay.
And we have another CAD drafts person here, Brandon. She's picking it up really good too. And just from things I've shown her, but we've had one company reach out and all of their 3D stuff was in AutoCAD, and that was a pretty good match. We were able to work well together with their stuff, but you know, like you said, it's usually Inventor or Revit or SolidWorks. But I've had SolidWorks people look at me like I'm some kind of an alien, like, and it's I don't know whether to feel really good or really bad, but I'm learning it all too. Yeah, I'm starting to learn SolidWorks and now HiCAD, and then this other Python programming language. It's just for CAD. You know, it's just a hobby kind of thing, but I
You know
really
C
like.
sharp? Do you know C sharp at all?
I don't. I've programmed with it. Matter of fact, my second ever attempt at creating that spiral creator was in C sharp, and most everything's in C sharp these days, or most of your AutoCAD stuff is in C sharp
Okay.
and .NET. C sharp and .NET is what they're promoting for their developer side. They've moved away from used to be Visual Basic, but now they're pushing .NET. Right now it's 8, but I think they're actually up to 10. But on their developer side, they're telling everybody to work with 8. Maybe because .NET 10's not perfected enough to, push out to the masses with C sharp to work with on that. But
Yeah.
C sharp, Python, Visual Basic, those are the ones I've programmed with.
So any API scripting for HiCAD would be C sharp. So you're in good shape there.
Yeah, I did do a little bit of research on that. There's a couple things on they're kind of dated, nothing really new for HiCAD
We have
on
training.
GitHub.
We have
Really?
we have API training that my colleague, a couple of offices over here where I'm sitting today, he's about 2 years with HiCAD, so he's a little bit behind me, but he's a computer engineer by degree. I'm a mechanical engineer by degree, so he knows the software stuff.
I would be very interested in that, but usually it's like with AutoCAD, I started that because I was trying to fill a void, and I know AutoCAD inside and out, 3D and 2D, so I know where the voids are. I know what to code, what to program to help fill the void there. I don't know HiCAD well enough. It'd probably be a long time before
I wouldn't suggest that now or anytime soon, but at a certain moment, after so long, you might want to spend some time with him.
Yeah, 100%. I did see some stuff, nothing that was current or nothing I'd want to play around with. I just felt like I I need to be more familiar with HiCAD before I start playing around on the coding side of things.
I even think there's,
You know, developer. That's why I asked you about the user groups and SDK, software development kit standard. There's the API interface.
there's books. There are some training books on it, as well as a training, like a training that could be arranged for you whenever you might want. Again, probably
Yeah.
a little bit, some time from now, but
Yeah.
we could get Chris. His name's Chris. He's here
Okay.
in this office with me. We could send those books over anytime you want, but
Man, I would be drooling all over them. But that being having its own proprietary unique kernel is probably, at first thought it's intimidating, but also once you have an API, it's pretty, things flow a lot easier.
HiCAD at its core is its own kernel built by us.
Right.
Right. But certainly there's plenty of scripting that complements it, either internal as of now. I don't know exactly if and when they changed either to a standard API or if they stick with their internal, we'll call it ISD programming. But they work together. I know there will be some customers find the voids, and that's why either something specific they want to do,
Right.
something unique, or something we didn't think of, or it's hard to build something that everybody globally is gonna be able to do everything they want to do. But those voids can be filled with C# scripts, which kind of makes it a sky's the limit type of deal.
Right.
And we have programmers. We don't have that many of them, but we have Chris here. He has some people in Europe he can reach out to. He's doing pretty well with it. Again, I have no idea. I don't know the first thing about C# or any language. But there's some basic, very, 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 very basic training examples that I have done that I kind of see what's going on. I just don't know the code to make it happen.
Yeah. Well, nowadays, with this AI stuff, I'm looking into, I was looking into, or just studying, you can run your own AI and train it to, like, for example, an organization, for your organizational knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure HiCAD is already all over training an AI on their kernel. You know what I'm saying? Where it would be a lot of, or a little bit more natural language programming.
Let's see. I just dug this off our server. Haven't really ever looked at it before. Anyway,
C# was very, very solid. And I stopped C# because I ran into a problem, believe it or not, with the Helix. And that's how I found out Autodesk has some really inadequate documentation for their developer stuff.
what a surprise.
And there was nothing out there on the Helix stuff. I ended up having to write a workaround, which actually, rather than go back in through the API, you're actually using the comm to send a command to the command line. Actually, um, so the software is actually sending a command through the command line rather than through the back end through the comm to accomplish that. And that was something that was, amateur developers had to come up with as a workaround just to establish a helix. So at that point, I thought, and my coding interest was only in Autodesk, AutoCAD, just like to help fill voids and things like that, or make things a lot easier, for some certain things. And then I realized it's not that way with Python. Python has got a whole situation, or a whole PyAuto, which is written by amateurs that have come across pretty much everything regarding um, Autodesk. So I went that route the last. So I've got probably three different versions in Python. I've probably got 10 versions in C#. And a lot of them are just I'll reach a wall and quit. I'll start over, which gets you pretty good after a while.
Yeah.
And I still have them all. I can go back and now knowing what I know now, I can go back and finish them. But I like where I'm at now.
Well,
That is really cool. That is something I'd be very, very interested in.
I'll ask Chris for. And I don't know what. There's a lot of stuff here. I don't know what the relevant material really is, but
Okay.
I'll ask him, maybe get some maybe introduction documents together, and you can peruse them at your leisure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'd be the geek of the week. Yeah, thanks, Robert. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. So I think maybe we save it for next time, but we'll start working through more of the process. You can kind of work on your panels in parallel, maybe on your own. You can bring your questions anytime. I still have a little bit to show you about the panels, like adding profiles and other parts, but we'll get to that soon enough. Maybe we do that next time, so that you kind of have a solid list of tools to keep working on your own. But then we'll kind of start walking through the process of creating some very simple, but learning the concepts of details and sectionals, and how you can use them for shop drawing sets. And then we have here automatic fabrication drawings that can be derived straight from the model to be something like that, for example, or it could be more or less. We have a lot of control over that. What types of views can be created, assembly, sheet metal views, whatever there. And we'll probably spend quite a bit of time going through this, adding parts to the panel, and then we're going to walk through how to create something similar to probably what you saw in the demo. I don't know if you remember that last meeting we had.
I remember it was pretty cool.
Preparing a preliminary a set, kind of something like this. Short and simple, but it walks through a lot of the steps that are needed to make something like that. Um, I think that gets you a lot of your basic building blocks to continue practicing.
Right.
As well as, I don't know what, Marco, I think I asked you this before. Do you have certain layers that you need created for your exports for the cam? Do you have an example of that, or?
No, I mean, we typically just go all for a pretty flat 2D drawing, just XY coordinates only, and then the layers are added with the tool pass that determines the Z. So my drawings, single layer is better for me because this alpha cam gets a little funky when you start getting too many layers and work planes in there.
Okay. Well, we'll have some time set aside where we can take exports and you can bring it in on your side, and we can see if we need to tweak anything or stuff like that.
Yeah, so it probably wouldn't hurt to like, I don't know, just create like the dash lines for where we want the grooves and solids for the cutout stuff, make it easier to read. But
You're going to see the whole operation in a couple weeks, Robert. Is it next week?
Yeah. 2 Mondays from now.
Okay.
Not this Monday, but next Monday.
right.
Papa's got a brand new add-on back there with some pretty cool stuff.
Definitely a step up from what it was.
You think?
I can send you this model, guys, if you want to.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll dig through it a little bit.
Can you send me anything? That'd be good to reference, study, and probably have some questions about it.
Some of it we haven't covered. Like you're going to find here that what's one thing you notice is not in here?
That's not in there in the variables?
Yeah.
I don't know the variables well enough.
IL and IH. Not
I
in
figured
here.
that was in there. That's not in there?
IL and IH are for rectangle shapes only. So this, remember, this could do up to 8 sides.
Yeah.
So we utilize a different strategy where we have an X and a Y point. And an X and Y1 and an X and Y2, and you're basically plotting the shape with variables here that you control. INR equals the number of sides that you want here. So right now it's a 4 shape. Well, yep, it sure is. If you want to look ahead there, that's something else we need to go through. But if you wanted to go back to, we start with a triangle. I say skip the triangle and go right away to a 5-sided shape, but it explains the concept a little bit better. But if you go to page 92 in the General Imperial Elements Installation book, and you wanted to sort of try and read a little bit of how, looky here, you got IX0 and you got IY0 to this point. So you're plotting however many sides that you want with an X value and a Y value. And that's the real short story of how that works. But that's also something to go over sooner rather than later, because at a certain moment when you start over, you take what you learned and you start from scratch again. Even if you, I would not suggest starting with an 8-sided panel, but I would suggest setting it up so that it can be built into an 8-sided panel. Because once you start out with once you start out with IL and IH, you're stuck, because IL and IH go into step number 1. So if you prepare a whole panel, even if now I wanted to do this like this, no go. Have to go back to square one. So you got 2 avenues to go: square or multi-sided or unique shapes. And once you go one way, then that's it for that panel. So since the multi-sided can indeed do square and rectangle shapes.
Yeah, so that was what I was going to ask you. Can you
It's
just
kind of
start
like,
out with
why not?
Right.
Because look at this. Even though that this square panel here can do all these different shapes, set this up as 4 sides, and then forget about all this till you're happy with your square panel that you built. Just forget about it. Come back to it later. But at least you built your panel to allow that capability.
That's really cool. So our ILIH is really just the kindergarten version.
Correct.
Yes, the entry level. That's what I feel like.
Yeah. So if there's like any sort of non-90 angle on a panel, then it has to be the INR. Even if it's like a 5-degree taper, you still wouldn't work.
ILIH is for 90-degree corners only, not 91, not 89, not 89.9, but 90.
It gives us the idea of how it works anyway.
Oh, yeah. And I've made a file here. I don't know if I put it in your stuff or not, but
I mean, for like that parking garage job we did not too long ago, there was, I don't know, 50 common panels on there. Probably be a lot quicker just to do the IH and IL for a common panel. A lot less steps to building it, right?
here's my cheat sheet on how to start.
I'd be happy to have that.
Oh yeah, that's no problem. So this is how you build. You build it like this, and then you switch it back to 4, and you continue on. And I think I actually have a drawing. I'm not sure. Here. So here's actually a drawing where you could basically take this, get rid of the rest of this, and at least it's set up. Really, can I not delete more than one at a time? But I can now. So you can take this file here, and here's your base sheet, already prepared. Although I'd like you to work through preparing it yourself, but this is not a bad reference either. So you're welcome to have
recreate it ourselves.
Welcome to have this along with my Word document here.
I appreciate that. So it'd probably be beneficial to take that, maybe try to recreate it ourselves, just for understanding purposes. That's pretty badass. I like that.
I got tired of recreating it every time, so I just said, here's my drawing at the beginning.
Yeah. That's your stock template. Your boilerplate or your scaffold.
Yeah. Yep.
Or there's another coding term, bootstrap.
Bootstrap.
Yep. When you first strap on your boots and start out. I haven't heard that one in a while, but it's standard.
Here's, not to pile it on, but here's another thing I do. I add what's called an edge variable, and I just say like E, whatever. I start with 1, but say, and I select this edge, and now this edge is called E, whatever. And I go all the way around, and I don't know if you noticed in this panel, that's how I control a lot of things. I say, does edge 1 exist? Or edge 2, all the way up to edge 8, 8. And that's how I say basically the edge is, in short, it's a flange. But that edge is what I select when creating the flange. So basically, if that edge is not there, then the flange is not there. So you can then use that to control the number of sides so that you can constrain all these functions correctly based on the situation that is present at that moment.
This is all the same kind of stuff.
See if you can set that up, and then set it back to 4 sides maybe, and then kind of repeat what you learned today from that point, and then you'll have a solid panel that could actually turn into a production panel.
Yeah. There's no harm in having that as like your stock template and then populating. I mean, is it a whole lot more to process, like from a computer perspective, demand on the hardware?
No, not really. It's not going to load
allows you a lot.
Allows you a lot as fast as the other one, but sorry, go ahead.
But it allows you more flexibility, it seems.
Oh yeah, because when you're preparing an elevation,
yeah,
and you got all the conditions. Yeah, you got right there in the middle, like 80% of it might be a standard panel, but
right.
Then on all your exteriors or special situations in the middle, windows or cutouts or whatever, you then can sit there with one panel file in your configurator and configure everything. Now, that being said, nothing stops you from creating a standard panel and create another panel for your top, another panel for your bottom, because maybe it's not so clear, but when you're in here working on your elevation, there's nothing to stop you from saying these tops are a different item from the library. Like, you're not limited to one library file per elevation. You could have 100 panels on that elevation and 100 different part files being used. Now, that doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's possible.
Wow.
So you could have a top. What I see customers do is they kind of have trouble with the top and right return, getting that to the parametrics to work out so that that's an option. So they say, okay, they have one panel that does standard top, left, right, bottom, and then they have a couple of separate files to do that, top and right, top and left.
Yeah.
Because it's either too complex for their skill level at that moment, or for whatever the reason. There's no shame in that. Create separate files if it gets you up and running faster. You can continue learning step by step. I've got one guy, he creates a whole new panel for each job. He keeps it pretty simple, but he says, okay, this job, they want this material, they want this type of profile, whatever, and he builds a panel for that situation. Now, in my opinion, that's maybe, I don't know, I would go a little further than that, but that's what works for him. So what?
Gets them pretty good at making panels, building panels.
Yeah.
Repetition.
He did. He picked up pretty quickly. He was using Athena. So he bought the Autodesk kind of cladding module, which is Athena, and he just didn't really like it. It's okay, it's a step in the right direction. He gave me a little demo in it, but it's still panel by panel by panel by panel. Basically, you have a configurator for each and every panel on the elevation. So instead of one configurator that can do a variety of situations, you had to go panel, like SolidWorks if you're doing this, Inventor, Revit.
Yeah.
So anyway, it wasn't what he wanted. But he's doing pretty well with this. I think you guys will too.
I think so. It's just going to be, I need hands-on, and I need a lot of repetition.
Yeah. I don't know if workload supports a little portion of each day, even if it's only 1-2 hours, but that's the ones that spend more time outside of class pick it up faster.
I've noticed that when I was doing SolidWorks, it would be the first hour and a half or so every day. And that seemed, even though I wasn't necessarily applying it to my workload, I was able to pick it up really good like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that is a good technique. But which is a lot of times that first hour there's a line of people that find it. You know what I mean? That's why I purposely keep this in this ear so people see.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd have it in this one. I want people need to try to figure things out on their own sometimes.
Mm-hmm. So if you get that computer at home up and running, I know you can slowly try things out, but I don't know how that machine would handle like a really large building model. Probably not so great, but as far as a panel model, it shouldn't be a problem.
I'm planning on upgrading But I think it'll, for our purposes right now, it's probably it's gonna fit the bill. I think just for learning purposes, and just for what we've got, because it does SolidWorks pretty good. It does AutoCAD really well. So I know it's not as good as this machine, but
It's more of a memory thing. So that 8 gigabytes is what would be your choking point on larger models.
yeah,
I don't know. Is it it's not a laptop, is it? Or is it a laptop?
it is a laptop. Yeah.
So I don't know
It's not
how
my
expandable
preferred,
it
but
might actually be, but you might be maxed out on that 8. I don't know.
yeah, we're maxed out on the 8 right now, but that's why we're looking into upgrading and all.
Okay.
So I just gotta figure out what I want, and it's crazy because a lot of times, especially in the graphics area, that that market is changing by the hour, it seems, between Intel, AMD, Nvidia, and
I mean, I don't have
some of
anything too wild here, but
some of the knockoffs.
it's one of these Ultras, which I think is like the more of a mobile version of an i7.
Mm-hmm.
It's maybe a little more recent. This computer is about a year old, but I got it going on with the RAM.
Oh yeah, you do.
And my graphics card, I don't know exactly what model it is, but I don't know.
You want as much in that.
It's the RTX 200.
Oh yeah.
I had an RTX 100 or a 1500 with my last computer, and it did just fine.
That's the same one we have in our workstations right now.
Oh, okay.
That's the same exact one we're running. I don't know how much VRAM it's got. I don't know if you can tell there either.
So what this actually does is it uses the onboard and the card, depending on the workload.
Yep. So it'll split it up automatically on demand. It sounds like, which is good.
It's got eight gigs of dedicated.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
I don't know what this says. It's probably sharing. I don't know what this is. Shared GPU memory.
Yeah, shared GPU. So it's sharing your 8 gigs, which is
Okay.
You could get in there and you could manually define that, but I would prefer to set it up on auto share. Or
I
just,
think that's what it's on. Like it, and you can see they're both being used, but I don't know how smart it is to send more graphical content down here than up here. I just don't know.
That's how AIs are 100% loaded into GPU memory. And that's how people run AIs locally. They get these smaller models, and it's called FP, which is you could think of it like a compression ratio, where you're familiar with compression, like zip files and things like that. Think of it as like a math problem where you don't have to send compression.
The only thing that comes to mind would be your car engine, but I don't think that's what you're talking about.
Right. Well, it's kind of similar where you can set. Well, no, it's not similar to a car engine. You could like for example, I could send you a whole bunch of answers. Right. Let's think of it in math. I can send you a whole bunch of answers and then one part of the equation where you can use the answer and that one part of the equation to define the rest of the equation, similar to algebra. Well, compression works the same way. And you know, the more it's compressed, the longer it takes to decompress. But the
Okay.
more the more you can fit on, um, in RAM or on a hard drive. Does that make any sense?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way. That's the easiest way I could think of it is a math problem that's this long, where you know if you know how to do the math problem, you only need this much information, and then you can figure out the rest. And that's what compression is
Okay.
in terms of files, zip files, and also FP size for LLMs and AIs that are able to run locally on your machine. But you
Okay.
need but for AIs, 100% of it goes into your video RAM because you need your system processor and RAM to run system duties. Well, you can also get like the new, what do they call them? The new NVIDIA arc digits that splits it up automatically. It'll come with 128 megs of RAM or gigs of RAM, but it'll allocate as it's needed. That makes sense? So you could load an AI in there and still run your CAD programs.
Hmm.
As long as the AI is small enough. Um, and at like a FP4 where it goes up to FP16, which is kind of mostly uncompressed. FP4 is majorly compressed and it takes longer and it's not as good as the FP16, but I don't know. I hope I'm not confusing you.
I'm getting a little bit of it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think I need to sign off here, but I know you guys got lunch to get to or whatever.
Yep. All right, so I'll check that stuff out. Thanks for sending it, Robert. I appreciate it. And
Are we set up for Wednesday, Friday
next
again?
Wednesday.
I don't think we're officially set up, but
I think I'm okay on the 29th.
Yeah, we can.
all right. So we'll do the Wednesday, Friday again next week, and then
Week off.
I'll
Yep.
see you on that Monday for a little bit.
Yeah. Looking
So that'll be
forward to
nice.
it.
Same
Yeah.
here.
All right.
It'll be
Alright,
pretty
guys.
cool.
Videos coming up here shortly, but I'll see you next Wednesday. Feel free to reach out before then, if you like.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
See you.
Have a nice weekend.
You too.
Thank you.
Mhm.